Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you back to the official 9th character I'm going to be talking about in the Super Smash Bros. 5 Newcomer Ideas series of videos. We've done numerous characters so far, we're almost at number 10, and I intend to do enough characters on this list to outlast and run and make it longer than my 80 characters I did for the ballot years ago for Smash Bros. 4. And I said the last one, you should see the thumbnail whenever I change it in the name of the video, so it's not really any surprise or suspense on who this character is. But I did say in the last video that it's going to be a Pokemon, and a Pokemon from Generation 7 in Decidueye. Now, why should Decidueye be in Smash Brothers? Let's start off with the first 3 categories: why they should be in Smash Brothers, moveset ideas, and the percentage chance I could see them getting in. Why does Decidueye make sense to be in Smash Bros. 5? First and foremost, Generation 7 is the biggest, newest generation until we get Generation 8 coming out. And if they decide to represent Generation 7, that would be the generation they're probably going to represent Generation 7, which is the biggest now, because we don't really know too much about Generation 8, although Sakurai probably does, because he always does this stuff early on where characters get like Roy and Lucario and Greninja, and he goes and gets characters early on, so there you go. So to represent Generation 7, which is the biggest, newest generation now until Generation 8, which Generation 8 might outrun it, because we never seem to get an odd-numbered generation besides Generation 1. Like, they never represent Generation 3 or Generation 5, so Generation 7 might fall under the wayside like those ones did for Generation 8, or we might get both, or maybe we'll get Generation 7 now, Generation 8 is DLC, whatever. But Generation 7, to represent Generation 7, that's the reason to put this character in, and he is probably one of the most popular starters in there. Rowlet is probably the most popular starter from Alola, from the 7th generation, and the final evolution of that is Decidueye, an owl, grass-type archer, which actually sounds quite fun, really. And it's a grass type. I think that's the reason why, because we have a fire starter, we have a water starter, so if they decide to choose a Generation 7 starter, and if they want to complete your starter types, it kind of has to be a grass type, and not just because he's the most popular of the final evolution starters and the popular starter in general, but because he's a grass type. I think Rowlet might be the potential choice for Smash Bros. 5. You never know. So that's the reason why I think he should be in, to represent Generation 7, because we might finally get an odd number generation actually represented. He's the most popular starter, Rowlet evolving into eventually Decidueye of that generation, and it's a grass type because we have Charizard, we have Greninja, so if they're both still in and they want a grass type and they do represent Generation 7, he's the choice, obviously. So that's why I think it makes sense, because they might represent a Alola region Pokemon, and if they do this, obviously a starter type, it's probably going to be a grass type, and he's the most popular, and not just because he's a grass type, I feel he should be in. I know those are cliche answers, but sometimes cliche answers are the most logical, so there you go. That's why I feel he makes sense to be in. Moveset, it's a standard Pokemon. They pick moves from the game. Smash attacks would be, I think, some of his wing attacks, his growls, pecks, just stuff that involves his wings. Maybe he flaps his wings, flying attacks, peck, growl, something he does, little like standard melee-based attacks. That's basically what Smash attacks usually are, and they're kind of basic and boring sometimes. So he picked the weaker of his attacks, stuff that he probably would have learned as he was Rowlet, like growl, which could probably stun opponents, peck, which would be using his beak and pecking someone, smacking them with the wings, blowing gust, doing flying attacks, attacking with his claws on his feet and everything, talons or whatever, stuff like that, like little, just smacking you with his feet, or pecking you with his thing, or wing, with his beak, or flapping his wings, that kind of thing. So that, I think, would be a Smash attack. Special attacks is when you start getting into all the grass type moves and the ghost type moves, because he's a grass ghost type. So you can use, and also not just that, but he has a bow, so it kind of, I feel, would be like Link, or maybe the standard B attack would probably be the bow. When you do up, down, left, right, B attacks, and B's in the air and everything, you get like the grass type moves, maybe like Leaf Blade or Razor Leaf, or something like that. Or you can get some ghost moves like Shadow Sneak or Omnious Wind or Phantom Force, stuff like that, like special like TMs or HMs that he can learn in the game, or you could give him in the game, of like Omnis Wind or Leaf Blade or Razor Leaf or something like, grass type moves and ghost type moves, because they always seem to give the types of moves that these characters have, these Pokemon have in the games. And he is the ghost type, so we can finally get some ghost type moves in Smash Brothers. He's a grass type, and you have to give him like Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade and all the standard leaf type moves and grass type moves that Pokemon learn that are in the grass types. So there you go. So I think his smash attacks will focus on his beak, pecking opponents, growling opponents to stun them, swinging his wings around, using his feet to kick them and stuff like that. And special attacks would be the bow and various popular, major, important grass type and ghost type moves he can learn. So there you go. And final smash, I never picked Rowlet. I picked Litten, so I don't really know all the attacks he really learns. But I think, because Pokemon usually for their final smash lately have either been like mega forms or some big ultimate attack they can learn, like Pikachu does Volt Tackle and Charizard turns into Mega Charizard, whatever evolution. So I would say give Decidueye his big special attack. Give him one of the big attacks he can learn, one of his big HMs, big TMs. You can give him the Shadow Ball, which is a ghost type move where you can just shoot the Shadow Ball and it hits opponents across stage. Maybe it's kind of like Lucina, Marth type thing where you have to catch the opponent in the range of a Shadow Ball and it hits them and a big explosion happens. But you can do the Energy Ball. You can do Shadow Claw where he just runs up to the opponent, makes Shadow Claws him in this big explosion, and then he gets them flying off the stage. Or since he's a grass type Pokemon, he can learn this Solar Beam, maybe, and it can kind of give people that are missing Ivysaur, the people that want to do Solar Beam. There you go. Give Rowlet the ability to Solar Beam you off the stage. I don't care, but one of the big attacks he learns should be his final smash. So there you go. And for percentage chance, I could see Rowlet. I'm talking about starters now. Decidueye, his final evolution, getting into Smash Brothers. If they go for a Generation 7 Pokemon and don't wait for Generation 8, chances are it would be him, and we're going to get a new Pokemon anyways from either Alola or the 8th generation. I'm going to say I'm going to give him a 90% chance, because if they pick a Alola region Pokemon, chances are it more than likely will be him, and as long as Generation 8 doesn't screw them over, or if they don't just decide to choose both a Generation 8 Pokemon and a Generation 7 Pokemon. And that's the reason why I said 90%, because they might want to go for a newer Pokemon, so that might be a thing for another video and a higher percent chance for them. But Decidueye specifically, I'm giving him a 90% chance because I think he is the most likely Alola Pokemon they have. That's the big region they have now, and he is super freaking popular in a grass-type Pokemon. I'm going to give him a 90% chance. I think he really stands a chance, and he more likely... They put him in freaking Pokken Tournament. That's a reason of itself that I forgot to mention early on. He's in freaking Pokken Tournament on the Switch version. They decided to add him because he's that freaking popular. So, Decidueye is the character I talked about here. Put in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys want to see Decidueye? What moveset the ideas do you think he has? What do you think about my moveset ideas and how mumble-jumble they kind of are, and leaf attacks and grass attacks and ghosts and peaks and beak attacks and, pecks and growls and stuff like that, and what the reasons I said he should be in, and his percentage chance being 90. What percentage chance would you give him? What reasons would you say he should be in? So on and so forth. Put in the comment section below. And we are on the official 10th character next video. And a spoiler, hint, whatever riddle, he is a captain of a long-standing Nintendo character. My name is Snyping. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you all later.